Welcome to Knockhill Racing Circuit for the second round of the BMW Compact Cup, and on pole position for race number 1 under drying conditions. Still not 100% dry out there, but Gary Clark on pole position. Second place we have Stephen Goldie. Now this is Stephen's best qualifying position. He's been really coming on strong lately and he's going to be absolutely delighted with the front row. David McNaughton, who won a round, the last round that we had here in April, has had an engine disaster in qualifying. The engine's still out the car. He's going to miss this race, but he's hoping to be joining the grid for race number 3. Drama already, and it hasn't even started. I'll hand it to Richard and he'll take us through their first race of the day.
And no doubt more drama to come as the race unfolds. Gary Clark starts on pole, Steve Goldie alongside, then it's Neil McInnes and Cliff Harper, Lee Elric and Douglas Simpson row 3, Mike Courts and Martin Buchan row 4, and then Robert Marshall and Andrew Mackill row 5. Row 6, Liam Grant, Ryan Sterling, then Ray McDowall and Richard Sutherland. David McNaughton should have been on row 8 with Daniel Cormack, Ashley Morris and Philip Webster next from Gordon McShannock, and Ross Johnston completing our 20 car field. Gary Clark then starting on pole position. Clark third in the championship, 1 point behind Cliff Harper. He may well move into second here. Probably, if he wins, will go into the championship lead, but we'll see how it all works out. And it is a great start by Gary Clark. 4 wide for second, and it looks like Neil McInnes in the black car is going to squeeze into second, but it's the Cytec machine there. Here we go in car with Robert Marshall coming down a very crowded field. Wet conditions, rear-wheel drive cars, they're all a handful. We've got a big grid as well, but they pretty much all make it through. So good driving standards from the Scottish BMW Compact Cup boys and girl, we have to say, because we've got Ashley Morris racing in the mix as well, and Ashley qualifying 17th today. But as you can see, Gary Clark, the early leader here. Stephen Goldie down in third place. Neil McInnes holding second at the moment. So McInnes in black with the yellow trim, and then we've got the blue car of Douglas Simpson, 81. So Douglas Simpson up from 6 on the grid, and behind him it's Lee Elric, and here's the view back from Martin Buchan. Great shot it is too, coming out of the hairpin and going up the hill across the grid lines, over the brow under the Beatson's Bridge, and then down into Duffus Dip. You can see Ray McDowall in yellow trying to make up a few places as well. Great to have Ray McDowall in this championship. An extremely renowned saloon car racer, and I think says bucket loads about this particular championship that Ray's decided to come and race with us as we look at the scrap between Douglas Simpson and Lee Elric. Elric at the moment 4th in the championship, 61 points, so 16 points behind David Norton, who I think is going to lose the championship lead in this one, but we hope that David can make it out for race 2. Remember though, he'll have to start towards the back of the field. In car with Mike Courts. This looks like a good move from Courts. Outside line here, is he going to be able to get the move done by the time they get down into the hairpin? You can see the 81 car, Simpson still out front, Lee Elric on the inside line. Outside line for Courts, maybe we'll go for the switchback. No, just following line astern at the moment. In car with Robert Marshall, and there's a car off the track. It's Ryan Sterling in orange. The blue car was Liam Grant, and Liam gets it back on track, rejoins just in front of Ray McDowall. Robert Marshall in behind, so a little bit of drama caught from the onboard of Robert Marshall. They all continue, which is good news. Terrific shots from these cars, very cost effective racing. And now look at McDowall having a look at the inside line on Liam Grant. So meanwhile, Lee Elric's still there. 72, Cliff Harper from 81, Douglas Simpson. And cars going up the hill. Still Gary Clark leading this one, and fastest lap for Clark. So Gary will, I think, take the lead in the championship, with David McNaughton possibly just dropping down. Cliff Harper is in the mix as well and in the top 6, so he's going to score some useful points as well. Most of the drama has been happening mid-pack. Ryan Sterling goes through, then Liam Grant, still Ray McDowall there as well. The 32 blue car, the car we saw going off at this point of the circuit a couple of laps ago, from the onboard of the 4th of the quartet that we're looking at, Robert Marshall. So Marshall trying to close down on Ray McDowall just now, and those guys, Robert Marshall challenging for 12th place at the minute. Waved yellows out there, so won't be any passing at Clark or thereabouts. And we go back to Lee Elric from Cliff Harper in 72, and then Mike Courts, who's now, as you can see, got past Douglas Simpson. Of course, looks very dark, doesn't it, from the inside of this car. Cloud cover's still here at Knockhill, but the forecaster's telling us that it's going to dry up for race number 2. And Mike Courts looking on for a decent result here at the moment. 6th position for him behind Cliff Harper 72. Harper second in the championship. Top scoring championship driver to make the start due to the engine problems you heard Joe talking about with David McNaughton. So Courts continues his chase of Cliff Harper. But here's the leader then. It's Gary Clark still out front. Big old battle going on for second place. And Stephen Goldie has come through into second position. So Goldie is now in second place. So Stephen Goldie now up ahead of Neil McInnes. Up the hill and over the brow they go. So Goldie building a pretty decent lead, and certainly will be helped by the racing going on for second position. And it is Stephen Goldie there at the moment, the Motherwell based driver, and Neil McInnes trying to close him down, and gets very, very close indeed there. So let's see whether McInnes in 91, the Glaswegian, can manage to get back through. He certainly had a pretty good start of things off the line, but has lost out on that now. Up into Clark Curve they go once again. So Goldie's still there. A bit of a gap back between those guys. Look at the gap between Gary Clark, the race leader, and the pair dicing over second place. And look again at the gap from third back to fourth place. So it's Lee Elric at the moment in that fourth position. Elric down on the inside, the back marker incidentally. Gordon McShannock locks up to try and keeps out of the way. Mike Courts goes through. Gordon McShannock in car number 55 is still running and is going to get a classified finish, but Gary Clark goes on to the last lap. At the moment, Steve Goldie, looking relatively comfortable in that second place. Neil McInnes is there still in third. McInnes with a brace of fifth positions at round number 1, and we go in car with Mike Courts once again, the man from Lochgelly, 17th and 13th in round 1. I know he's hoping for, and we were probably expecting better positions for him, but he's found his form and pace this weekend as Mike Courts, and it looks like it's going to be a best finish of the season so far from him out of the 3 races they've had. But there is Gary Clark. Ross Johnston goes out of shot. Ross running in 17th place. We've got one non-finisher in this one so far, which is Daniel Cormack, a retirement. David McNaughton didn't take the start, but Gary Clark is going to go one better than he did in round 2, and he takes the win. Clark wins. Stephen Goldie will take second place. Neil McInnes is there in third. Lee Elric will come through in fourth position, then Cliff Harper. Mike Courts is next. Douglas Simpson up across the line, then Martin Buchan. Richard Sutherland crosses the line next, and then we're going to see across the line goes Ryan Sterling and Liam Grant. Ray McDowall in the mix there as well. And here's the result of race 1 then. Clark from Goldie and McInnes. Lee Elric fourth from Cliff Harper. Mike Courts and Dougie Simpson next from Martin Buchan and Richard Sutherland. Ryan Sterling in 10th place, fastest lap Gary Clark. Liam Grant from Robert Marshall, Andrew Mackey, Ray McDowall, Ashley Morris, Philip Webster, Ross Johnston and Gordon McShannock in 18th.
Gary Clark, well done. Race win. The season didn't start how you wanted at round 1, but this has certainly turned around. Unfortunate for Davey with the engine problem there, points wise, but it's helped you.
Aye, it's good for us, but as you say, unfortunate for David. It's a pity he wasn't out here, because the pace he had in the first round, he probably would have given us a good race. But that went well out here just now. Tricky track conditions, damp patches here and there, so really need to be wary of that. But just happy to get the win.
Well done, great drive.
Thank you.
Introducing Stevie the Beard to the BMW podium. Fantastic result. I know how hard you work. You're here every single track day. You're working your socks off to be there. Right. What a great result.
Aye, thoroughly enjoyed it. Absolutely outstanding. For where I've came for last year to just now,
Not been easy, has it?
No. It's been long and hard. All the guys that have helped us out, coming up and spanning for us, so take a wee bit of the pressure off and doing a bit of time with Rory Butcher and stuff like that, and obviously all the seat time up here paid off. Brilliant, man.
Good track conditions out there. Not ideal. Some damp patches.
Nah, some damp patches, so it was all right. It started to dry up a wee bit, so hopefully for the next race it'll be kind of either dry or either wet, a definitive kind of weather condition.
I say this to everyone that I see getting a podium for the first time. The celebrations last not that long until you want to win, and the next time out you're going to want to win.
Aye, well, I think I've been wanting to win for I started the season last year, but no, year on, hopefully it's there for us. Hopefully it's here.
Well done.
Thanks.
Neil McInnes, welcome to the podium. It's a podium of firsts here. We've got also Stevie the Beard on the podium and yourself. It's great to see the fresh faces.
I should have been in his step. It's my own fault, but here I like him, so it's alright. Brilliant, great fun, man. I'm quite delighted that we managed to kind of keep up, and Gary wasn't completely in the distance for a change. So yeah, a wee bit of potential there. I was a bit off track limits a couple of times, which I didn't know about, but
conditions are, it's easy to make that mistake though.
The car's a bit loose and stuff, you're trying to find that dry line, but ultimately I'm over the moon. I don't deserve this. He doesn't deserve second either though, right? Honestly, he done great, and I thought I was catching him towards the end, inch bench, and then he caught a back marker, and I thought I'm getting him now, but it just didn't happen. And it was worth both of us being in the podium than an accident. It was pointless doing it, so it was great though, and he done great as well. It's great for him because he's not a good driver. Alright.
Race number 2 for the Scottish BMW Compact Cup is almost ready to go. Pure dry conditions. It's actually turned into a really nice day here, and it's Gary Clark on pole position in the 85 machine. It's a lovely looking car, not a single dent on that car at all. He had a great first race there with a win, but Stephen Goldie, first podium, second place this morning, but he is already going to be hungry to take a win overall. I'll hand it to Richard and we'll see if he can do it.
Yeah, congratulations to those guys on their first podiums. Gary Clark from Stephen Goldie and Neil McInnes. Lee Elric fourth from Cliff Harper. Then Mike Court sixth on the grid. Douglas Simpson and Martin Buchan next up from Richard Sutherland and Ryan Sterling. Liam Grant and Robert Marshall row six. Then Andrew Mackey, Ray McDowell, Ashley Morris and Philip Webster. Ross Johnson and Gordon McShannock. Daniel Cormack and David McNaughton looking to move up from 20th on the grid. You can see him there in blue, just at the back row, left of shot, who was the championship leader coming into this second event of the year. Clark and Goldie lead them away. Good start by Lee Elric from the front of the second row. And this the view back from Ray McDowell. And there is David McNaughton already starting to make a bit of progress in 23. Puff of smoke out of the back of McNaughton's car, down into Duffus, going to look at the inside line coming down into Scotsman, hard on the brakes so he doesn't go into the back end of McDowell's car. A little bit of a slippy and slidey moment there for car number 14. It looks like Stephen Goldie's lost a little bit of ground off the front of the grid, so yes he has, he's down to third place. So it's Gary Clark up front. We said it was a good start from row 2, and it's Neil McInnes from the inside of row 2. Stephen Goldie is next up with Cliff Harper running in 5th position. Goldie coming under pressure, Harper in 4th and goes through on the inside line. Mike Court's there just ahead of Martin Buchan, who's made good progress as well, 35 from 8th on the grid. So he's making very good progress indeed. But out front it's Gary Clark from Neil McInnes. Challenge on for third place. Cliff Harper all over the back as they went down the hill of Stephen Goldie, who goes on the escape road, rejoins the circuit, still there in third. Back end's coming around. Well, I think he's going in for the Drift Championship here. Stephen Goldie, rightly enthused about that first podium, but conditions here are a little bit drier. The back end still wanting to break away. Cliff Harper will nab that place if he's given half a chance. Clark leads, McInnes in second place, Goldie, then Harper, followed by Lee Elric, who started 4th. He's down in 5th position. So Harper and he have switched positions off the start of the grid, and now Harper goes another place up. Goldie goes wide into the hairpin. Mike Courts is chasing up as well. Here we go, in car with Michael Courts. Wants to crack on with the job. This guy's been getting better and better. Very cool on the wheel, coming down into Duffus here. Goldie immediately in front of us, and Courts I think might follow through here. Wants to try and go for it, so good racecraft from Courts. Thought about it momentarily because the Thorny car nearly chopped across, but Courts has gone through. So Mike Courts through and passes Stephen Goldie, with Gary Clark still out front here. So Clark looking to now build on what is his championship lead after race number 1, round 3 of the 2016 season, and it was a fastest lap for him in race number 1 as well. David McNaughton is making progress, but maybe not as much as we thought he might have done. There's the 14 car. Lee Elric chasing at the moment Cliff Harper. Inside line there for Martin Buchan in 39, and David McNaughton takes out Richard Sutherland in the number 90 car. So Richard Sutherland in the blue car, who finished in the top 10 in race number 1. That shows you actually that David McNaughton in the Balgoni Motor Company car did make a fair bit of progress, so up towards the runners that were in the top 10 in race number 1. And that contact, that's the difficult thing about coming through the field. More cars to pass, more chances of a misdemeanor, but he will carry on. So Neil McInnes then running in third place now after taking that third place in race number 1. Goldie still the race leader. Cliff Harper is now into second position. There is Cliff in second, so 91 third, 14 Lee Elric is next, and then Mike Courts, who rides the curb there in spectacular style through Leslie's into Scotsman Corner. Again hard on the brakes for Mike Courts. He is pushing so hard at the moment in 5th place. 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th all together. Courts has managed to break the toe of the cars behind, and I think that's still Steve Goldie, who is in behind in car number 40 behind this group. So we're just going to have to see how this all works out. But it's Neil McInnes coming under pressure now from Lee Elric. So McInnes gets back across, takes the line. Elric goes for the wide line around the hairpin. Is he going to get stuck on the outside line here? And he is, because he's going to leave the door open for Mike Courts, who's going to try and come through momentarily. Contact between the two, but both cars continue on, and Courts got very good drive out of the hairpin and up the hill, considering he was on the inside line. So Courts goes through, makes up a position, and he's now 4th. Great drive by Mike Courts from 6 on the grid. Again, you can see him riding the curves there. Absolutely fearless stuff, and a lock up from the car in front, and Courts here will sense that the 3rd place driver Neil McInnes is maybe, well, I'll tell you what, Courts is pretty aggressive on track as well, isn't he? We've seen lock-ups going into the corner. We haven't seen the rear end of Mike Courts' car break away like it very nearly did there on Neil McInnes. So again, McInnes out front. You can see Courts is virtually locking himself onto the back of this car now, putting the pressure on. Cliff Harper still there in second. Gary Clark still leads this and has got the fastest lap as well. But we're focused on what's happening for the last podium slot, and at the moment it's Neil McInnes, the Glaswegian, but here comes Mike Courts, hard on the brakes, down the inside, up into 3rd position. Great move by Courts. He's got himself potentially up onto the podium. Got Lee Elric coming up in the mix as well. Here is the view looking back from Ray McDowall. So McDowall about to be challenged by Richard Sutherland. Sutherland takes a wide line into the hairpin, climbs up the hill, and Sutherland will be looking maybe for a way past. Once they get on the brow, goes very close indeed now to the outside line coming down into Duffus Dip. Nothing quite doing there. Was there contact? We heard a little bit of a clatter, and Sutherland runs a little bit wide. Meanwhile, back to the race leader, Gary Clark leading this one, building a good lead. Race won by 3 seconds, and as you can see, he's chipping away, fastest lap after fastest lap, and this is going to take him to a good championship, by my reckoning 12 points over Cliff Harper, who'll go into second. There is Harper, second position in the race. The last lap board is going out now. Mike Courts still 3rd, but coming under pressure from Lee Elric, who's still there in 4th position. Lights ablaze from the race leader. I wonder if Gary Clark is going to have to contend with those back markers that are there. I suspect possibly not. Gordon McShannock is running well. Gordon McShannock improving on his lap times race by race, which is what you need to do as a newcomer. And Gary Clark here should leave Knockhill today with 149 points in the bank. Cliff Harper will have 137. Lee Elric and Neil McInnes, who are together on track, are actually going to be together on points as well, and they'll be third. If the standings stay the way they are at the moment, they'll be third jointly on 125 points, and Stephen Goldie will be in 5th position in the championship on 123. But here's the man who has moved up from third in the standings when he started the weekend, and he's now the championship leader and makes it a double here at Knockhill. Gary Clark takes the win. It's a win for Clark. Cliff Harper second. Now, here comes the battle for third place, and it's Mike Courts coming under pressure, but Courts grabs the podium. Mike Courts third, Lee Elric in 4th place, then Neil McInnes, and Stephen Goldie coming across the line in 6th place. Let's take a look at the official standings after, or the official positions rather, after round 4 of the Scottish BMW Compact Cup. Gary Clark makes it a double. 2 other people on the podium, Cliff Harper and Mike Courts. Lee Elric 4th from Neil McInnes, then Steve Goldie and Martin Buchan. Robert Marshall from Liam Grant and Ashley Morris up into the top 10. Then Richard Sutherland, David McNaughton from Ray McDowall, Andrew Mackey, Philip Webster 15th from Ross Johnston and Gordon McShannock.
Gary, I'm going to call it a shaky start to the season last time out, but you've certainly made up for it today and established yourself as, let's say, the man to beat.
I would say, well, perfect weekend. Doesn't get much better. Pole position and 2 wins, so really pleased with that.
I didn't get a chance to compliment you before, but what a stunning looking car as well.
It looks really good. It really does look well, so very pleased.
And you're in the right place to keep it clean, no tyre marks up the side of it, just a clean pair of heels there.
Just do it in front and look in the mirror and hope to get it to the end, so now marked, perfect.
Well done, we'll see you later in the month.
Thank you.
Cliff Harper, welcome back to the podium. A great result, championship points wise for you. It's looking healthy enough. Gary's not really stretched away that much.
No, it's looking good so far. Like, if I can just keep hold of Gary, we'll be happy.
If you just put a move on him that looks a bit crazy, he'll dive out the way because his car's that nice. He doesn't want anyone to touch it.
Yeah, that's right. It's like a showpiece.
Well done, Cliff.
Thanks.
Michael, welcome back to the podium. Always nice to see you on the podium. You're always dead chuffed with it. It was a great drive as well.
Yeah, a weird feeling being here. It's been a long road to get here. First round didn't go exactly to plan. Obviously I had that incident in race 1, so it's kind of damage limitation in race 2, and then this weekend I was like, we're going to make up for it. So yeah, race 1 just kind of done the job, gained a place, and then race 2 probably battled for it all the way to the end.
It's nicer when it's dry and it doesn't feel so sketchy.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that feeling of being able to lean on the car and just have that mechanical and rubber grip there. It's brilliant.
Which we don't get that often here.
No, we don't, and to be fair, Knockhill's kind of like my bogey track, especially in the rain. So to get a podium here, I love it. I really do.
Well done. Well, unfortunately that brings today's action to a close, but what great racing we've seen all day long in some changeable conditions. Make sure you tune in next time for more action.